Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our next lesson, which is on the exterior angle of a triangle. So make sure, if you haven't yet, pause the video, grab your book, pen, calculator, because you're going to need all three. Okay, so hopefully you've got all your maths equipment ready, and now we can begin. So the goal of this lesson is really simple. It's just to be able to find the size of an exterior angle of a triangle. So here's an example of a type of question that you might find in this lesson below. You've got a triangle, one of the sides has been extended, creating this exterior angle, and we need to find the size of it. So if you haven't yet, can I just get you to put the heading, exterior angle of triangles, in your book? Once you have that heading in, continue on with the video and we'll move on to our next lot of notes. Okay, so we're going to need to get this into our books as well. It is, what is an exterior angle? So the idea is the angle, it's the angle created outside a polygon, not just a triangle, but any polygon, when one of the sides is extended. Let me show you what I mean. So let's just take any one of these three sides here and extend it. When you do that, you end up creating this angle here. That's what we call the exterior angle. That's not the only exterior angle. You know, we could have extended any of the sides. For example, this one here. I've now just created another exterior angle. I could have extended that side the other way to create this exterior angle, and etc. So that's what an exterior angle is. I might leave just this first one up here. Just so you can get it in your notes and you've got a diagram of what an actual external angle is. So pause the video if you need to. Make sure you have this in your maths book. Once this is copied in, resume the video and we'll move on to some examples of how we're going to find these exterior angles. Alright, so hopefully you're ready for our first example. So for these examples, we're going to be finding the size of the exterior angle for each. So it's going to be a series of different triangles. Each triangle will have one of the sides extended, creating this exterior angle. Alright, so hopefully we can all see where the exterior angle is. It is right here. And we're going to find the size of it. This one here is quite simple because we have the size of the angle directly next to it. If we really zoom in on this area here, we can see that we have a straight line, a side that goes up here, and that angle there was 100 degrees. The angle on this other side was the exterior angle. What's really great about having the angle directly next to it is because we know this here is a straight angle, meaning it adds up to 180 degrees. Remember in primary school when you were doing your different angles, the acute angle, right angle, obtuse angle? Well, the straight angle is this one right here, and it added up to an equal to 180 degrees. So since we know the angle next to the exterior angle is 100, it becomes pretty simple to work out what the exterior angle will be. It'll just be 180 minus 100. So in other words, this whole thing needs to add up to 180. If that's 100, this clearly must be 80 degrees. That's the first example done. It's the first exterior angle is 80 degrees. Okay, so if you haven't yet paused the video, make sure you get this first example copied in, and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, now this one here is not as fortunate because, as you can see, the angle next to the exterior angle is missing. So I guess the first thing we could do, would be to try and find the size of that angle, right? So, we're going to need to look at the other two angles we have. We've got 70 degrees and we have 60 degrees. Now, you may remember what the angle sum of a triangle is. Remembering triangles, they've got three angles. All three angles will add up to, what's that number we always need to remember? 180 degrees. If the first angle is 70, The second one is 60. What's this final angle down the bottom going to be inside the triangle? Well, 70, 60, that's going to need to be a 50 degrees. What I've done here is I've just taken 70 and 60 away from 180 to get the 50 degrees. Alternatively, you could have created an equation, like we did, I believe it was in our second lesson, is equal to 180. Go ahead, simplify the equation, solve it, and you end up getting 50 degrees. Okay, so we've found the size of this angle. Now we can go ahead and find the size of our exterior angle, because again, we have a straight angle. That adds up to 180. That side is 50. What's going to be the angle left over for our exterior angle? So you just find the difference, what's missing to make up the 180, and it ends up being 130 degrees. And there it is, our second exterior angle. Okay, so question 2's, is about as hard as it gets, to be perfectly honest. However, there is a shortcut because there's a little pattern. I'm not sure if you have noticed at home, but I'm going to tell you now. The exterior angle for this one was 130 degrees, which funnily enough happened to be the answer you get when you add up these two opposite angles. 70 plus 60, if we were to just add those two opposite internal angles together, you get 130 degrees, which ended up being our exterior angle. That may just seem to be a coincidence, but if you look at our first example, again, the exterior angle happened to also be equal to, for this one it was 80 degrees, which is exactly what you get when you add up those two opposite internal angles. What I mean by that is the angles inside the triangle on the opposite two corners. If you add them together, 30 plus 50, it also gives you 80 degrees. This isn't just a coincidence, this is always the case, which is actually going to make finding the exterior angle even easier than what we did here in this second example. So, yes, what we did in orange would be, I guess, the normal way, you might go about finding the exterior angle. However, if you remember the shortcut, what I've done here in red is all you need to do to find the exterior angle of a triangle. Just add up the two opposite internal angles. Let's look at this one. So let's use our shortcut method. We want to find this exterior angle. Don't worry about finding this angle here, and then using a straight angle. Instead, we're going to go straight to the answer. So all we need to do is add up the two opposite internal angles. 90 plus 67, add them together, and straight away, without a whole lot of effort at all, you've managed to find the size of the exterior angle. It's 157 degrees. That's the extent, really, of all you need to do with these questions. All right, so third example, make sure you have that copied into your books. We have one more example to look at. It's kind of as hard as I could think. Okay, so again, we're trying to find an exterior angle, right? That's our lesson goal. This time here, we're going to use our shortcut, which means we need to add our two opposite internal angles. However, we've only been given the size of one of them. Fortunately, this triangle is isosceles, meaning the base angles are going to be equal. That's 40 degrees. This one here is also 40 degrees, meaning our exterior angle will just be the sum of the two opposite internal angles. 40 plus 40, your exterior angle is 80 degrees, and that's the question done. All right, so hopefully through the course of these 4 examples, you've been understanding what's happening and you feel pretty comfortable with the exterior angles, because I am going to give you a couple questions on this next slide for you to do yourselves. So I'm going to flip over here. So what I'm going to get you to do is you don't necessarily need to copy in these triangles. You already have some diagrams of triangles from your examples, but definitely have a go at answering all four right now. So you can just, write down number one, and if you can just go straight to your working out and answer if you want. So just take a couple minutes, answer these four questions, pause the video if you need to. Once you're finished, unpause the video, I'll flip over and we'll have a look at the answers that you should have got. Okay, so hopefully everyone's answered the questions, and these are the answers. So hopefully you got 120, 130, 90 degrees for the third one, and 52 for the last one. Exterior angles of a triangle, they're not too bad. I'm leaving you with one final question over here on the right-hand side, just to have a brief look at. It's going to lead us into our next lesson, which is still exterior angles of a triangle, but sometimes it's one of those two internal angles that's missing, or sometimes multiple angles that are unknown, and we're going to need to go back to using those equations that we did in those previous lessons. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Best of luck with your exterior angles, and I'll see you for the next lesson.